Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your Gemini November 2022 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James, clairvoyant, and I've had the great pleasure of doing some one-on-one clairvoyant readings from different parts of the world for Gemini folks over the course of the last month, and if you might be interested to see what's involved, just check out the information below. But now we're going to take 5 cards, because 5 is all we need to get the lowdown on what is going to be happening with you in November. So let's start, shall we, with something from in here, and that is the King of Wands. Lots of fiery energy there. There's the 5 of Cups. This is the 4 of Wands. Here is the Knight of Cups. A couple of people on that column. And here is the Moon card. Fascinating. Well, why don't you come, as is our usual practice, sit down here next to me. We'll have a good close look at the imagery on these cards together while I do the reading for you. Let's start, shall we, with this card here, which made itself very strongly felt, which is that of the Moon. Well, do you know each of us has a dark side which we never show to anybody? Now here, the Moon is a hunter on the edge of a cliff, shooting great fiery arrows at the sun. The Moon is the feminine aspect of the Trinity, the Christian Trinity and the Hindu Trinity. She is yin, soft, passive and internal, dark, mysterious, the doorway into the subconscious world of dreams, intuition, and emotion. She looks within, while the sun looks without. The sun is steady and ever shining, eternal, whereas the Moon is cyclic, waxing and waning, having the poles of the new moon and full moon. These are like the cycles of life and death, light and dark, good and evil. Now the Moon rules the darkness and the night. The light of the sun can refer to things being illuminated and out in the open, where things not in the light can be seen as secret, hidden, and occult. Now, because the Moon waxes and wanes, so too do things under its influence, like the tides. Things that lie secret and hidden will move out into the light and back again. Now, for me, in this position, placed down here, this is Neptune in Pisces with Venus exalted. This Moon here I call the ruler of the flux and reflux, the child of the sons of the mighty. The question to ask yourself at this time is it a reality or is it an illusion? Neptune in Pisces. Well, Pisces is very much associated with the subconscious, with emotions and intuition and artistry. And for me, anyway, this is the last of the major arcana to be associated with a zodiac sign. But Neptune in Pisces. Neptune's watery depths are associated with dreams, visions, and the imagination, which links it in well, I think, with the qualities of the Moon. There is a sense here that there is a final testing of you for the lessons that you have learnt throughout the year to date. Maybe there are some wrong turns you have taken which need to be brought back on course. There is illusion around, things not appearing to be what they are. There could be things said to you which are misleading or even deceptive. There's a great sense of burning off of karma and an interaction with or a struggle with your subconscious. And there is the threshold here to new levels of consciousness. Now, I must say that it is possible that during this period you could feel some sense of mental confusion. It could be a difficult period where you lack clarity, because I do get deception in the air. However, it is possible that there is some degree of psychic ability with you, and I think that you might see through people to see what is being said to you, to go behind the words and determine what the reality is. So this is a time, I think, when something in your life is not as it appears to be, a situation that is, as I say, deceiving. Now, you may feel lost in life and unsure of which is the right way to go, almost as if you are out in the forest at night with no signposts telling you which is the way out. I will say that this can often represent your shadow self. As I say, there are always parts of us that we keep hidden. So it could represent your shadow self, your subconscious, or your hidden self. You may be harboring negativity which you have suppressed or not even be aware of, that you need to release so that this destructive energy can be put to good use. Do you know, sometimes feelings from childhood that have been repressed can have a negative impact on your current situation. But I think you have heard the call of the unknown. You are on the threshold of new experience. Pay attention now to the voice of your heart and scrutinize calmly and carefully what it is other people bring to you. But this is a time that you will get through and say to yourself, I enjoy making important decisions. I value honesty and integrity in relationships. I like what is mysterious within me and within others. I express myself fully and openly like the moon, where it is responsible to do so. Through choice, I can change my experience. Now, clearly having something to do with that moon card is this card which sits above it in this column, and that is this card of the Five of Cups. Now, what do we have here? Let me see what I can make from the painting here. Well, this is really the guarded heart. Now, in the center is a garden of paradise. It has 2 trees with ripe fruit, figs and pears that clothe and feed man and woman, and a forever green, fragrant lawn, a waterfall, and in the heart of it is a well that leads to another world. This small well is the mother of 3, 1, 2, 3, I think great rivers that etch the landscape into deep canyons, gorges, and ravines before rejoining the ocean thousands of miles away. Now, the guardian of the well is a pure white unicorn with 8 legs, and you might just see it here. It's Chiron's key, just over his heart, above the mouth of the well. Now, the story of Chiron is quite interesting, so I might digress for just a second. Chiron was the half-man, half-horse centaur who was the tutor of many of the Greek heroes. Though most centaurs are undisciplined and lusty, Chiron was more learned and civilized than most men. He taught his young charges the healing arts and astronomy, but the great healer could never heal himself. He was struck in the thigh with an arrow tipped in the blood of the Hydra, that's that multi-headed snake, which inflicted a terribly painful wound on him, but being immortal, he could not die, and he suffered for many, many years before he finally convinced the gods to trade his immortal life for that of Prometheus, and thus willingly sacrificed himself. Now, the horse is often a creature from the sea in mythology, a symbol of beautiful earth with its incredibly fast and stable forelegs and freedom of movement. And in mythology it often comes out of the surf, like the shell, a treasure. And here it sits in the middle of the Garden of Eden, teaching, guarding, watching, and protecting. Now, the astrology here is Mars ruling the first decan of Scorpio. Now, we would expect a really positive aspect to this card because Mars actually is the ruler of Scorpio. But I've got the number 5 here as well, and mystically I have an association with Mars. And so what we have is extra fire. So we have the fire of Mars ruling Scorpio, and we have the fire in the number of the card, and this extra heat, this extra energy evaporates the waters of Scorpio. So I think there's a feeling here that you might have some, and it might come from this moon card, unfulfilled expectations or a loss of sense of balance or problematic relationships. An unexpected disturbance, perhaps. It may be that your expectations were much too big. Some unexpected event, perhaps only a thoughtless reaction, has ruined them abruptly. The aggressively destructive energies now dominating the scene have, I think, probably been smouldering beneath the surface for a long time. You have overlooked them. Perhaps because you didn't want to admit to their existence, you ignored the warnings of your inner voice. But now you have to face the sobering facts and look them in the eye. But remember, every disappointment contains the possibility of an important learning experience. Now, okay, maybe something didn't work out as expected, but this energy is saying don't wallow around in self-pity and regret, because new and better experiences are in store, and these cards here are testimony to that, and we get to them in just a second. It could be that you're feeling disappointed by someone else's actions, so find it in your heart to forgive them. I know forgiveness is hard. Forgiveness releases the forgiver. Very hard to forgive, and if you can't forgive, at least then forget. But you know, the acceptance of our disappointment is in reality the acceptance of our Creator's perfection. One of our biggest mistakes is to ignore what happens within us. There is no shame in letting your Creator know that you are falling and that you need Him to pick you up. The fall of the ego becomes the rise of the soul. Your soul wants to meet you. It wants to breathe. It wants to speak. It wants to see with the clarity of the eyes of your heart. These eyes of the heart are the eyes bestowed directly upon you by your Creator to witness Him and His pleasure. And the friends of the divine are not in search of their own eyes, they are in search of His eyes. Let's quickly have a look at a couple of these kings that are over here, shall we? And see what they have to say to you. I think that's a Babylonian god. Let me have a look. Let's see what is there. Do you know to redeem yourself? That is, to grasp the Holy Grail. You must be able to get it not by grace, but by the strength and goodness of your own free will. The kings have control and mastery over the elements. They are the kingdom, the land, the foundation, the strength. The King of Wands has control over his own energy, passion, creativity, his spirituality. He knows what he wants. He knows what to do. And his illumination leads others. Now, the god depicted in this image, I'm pretty sure, is called Shamash or Utu, the Sumerian sun god, whose main attribute was righteousness and justice, as he illuminated what was previously dark and the wrongs and misdeeds. And remember this card. Now, I think that this is also a time in which there will be for you great activity, generosity. You may find that you are quite impetuous at times, and the actions that you take might be seen by others as being very unpredictable. I also see there's going to be a great degree of fierceness with you at the moment. There's dynamic forward motion, increased insight. You will be energetic and ambitious. Quite adventurous, I think, very determined, and very charming and magnetic, such that you will be hard to resist, and so I suspect that people are going to find you very sexually attractive during this period, and do with that what you will. Now, the energy created by your increased perception is set free, and now it manifests. It is unstoppable. Even in difficult situations, it's going to move you in a constructive direction. So find your vitality, trust your gut instinct at the moment, let your hair down, give yourself a pep talk and believe that you can do it, because you can. And be awake, ready for people or situations which could produce dynamic changes in your consciousness. Be grateful for this gift from existence. Receive it, but don't cling to it. Now, does your present situation allow your energies to develop and unfold fully? And if not, what must be removed or changed? Seek out situations and opportunities that challenge you and engage them with all of your energy. And remember this: every challenge which arises helps you grow. Every storm strengthens your roots. I also see that there is a lot of Sagittarius and Scorpio energy around that, so they, in their sun or ascendants, are going to be important to you. Now we come to the King of Cups. Hello, King. Oh, what are you doing here? Look, the gods of the oceans are always incredibly powerful and mysterious. When all else fails, the ocean comes and wipes out whatever problem there is, as if it had never existed. This is Poseidon, and the blue flowers are the blue lotus. They are intoxicating and speak of this king's precedence over sleep and altered states, the subconscious, the active subconscious. Where he is, there is no time like you and I know it. There is no reality or gravity like you and I know it. It is the home of your imagination, of dreams, of fiction, of mythology, of the moon. See, that moon card keeps rearing itself around you, doesn't it, this month? Now, usually this stays beneath the surface, but occasionally it rises up and wipes out whole civilizations. Now, the King of Cups is mastery over your own subconscious, your black horse, your animal nature and desires. Not to say that you shouldn't have animal natures or desires, but you should be in control of them. Use them, but be in control of them. Now, this can be incredibly difficult and powerful. If you can master this, you can rise above everything and see the face of God, or the most objective truth that there is at the center of the universe. But as mere mortals, it is so difficult to control this horse that even the greatest of people can only do it for a short time before they crash to the ground. Even so, just a glimpse of eternity is enough to transform your soul and completely change you forever. Your awareness will never be the same. Now, as with all the water cards, Emotions may lie on the surface, sometimes confusing and unwanted, just like dreams, seeming gibberish at times. But they all have meaning. The surface of the water is pushed up and down by what is going on in the depths. It is never meaningless. It is like the laying the hand of yours onto someone's chest and feeling the heartbeat within. Emotions are the communications of the beating heart deep within the chest, and you feel them most when there is a problem or when they are working hard. A lot of Pisces around here, a lot of Aries around here. This is speaking of a time for you to surrender to your beloved ones. There is a great capacity for you for giving, and you'll be reaching higher emotional planes. This is, if it's somebody else, and that energy that I am getting, as I say, is that of Aquarius and Pisces around it. It could be someone else. But this is, and I'll say it's a man. It is a man with commitment issues. Commitment issues. Someone who's friendly but sort of passive. You might know this person. Attracted to excitement. Someone with an unsustainable enthusiasm for people or projects. Someone who is sensitive, but actually deep down, he's very shallow. He has the qualities of a Venus or a weak Jupiter. He's friendly, but on the whole he is so superficial that it is very hard to reach his depth. His name is written in water. Now this is also someone, and the court cards of course can be of either gender, and the lesbian and gay community, please make the necessary adjustment here. But this is someone who loves the opposite sex, and the opposite sex loves them. They're charming, but they're not really deep, and someone who is ruled by emotions, not very practical, and actually someone who'll try to flatter you. They'll talk their way out of paying their share of expenses. They're often intensely insecure, needing reassurance, and at worst they're unfaithful, fickle, shallow, highly emotional, and unreliable. But nevertheless, you learn for intensive interchange with those of a like mind and like outlook to you at this time. Seek out your true family, the community in which you feel at home. There you are going to find the quality of communication you long for. And say this: I am finding the contact I now need. Now that takes us finally, I think, to this Four of Wands. Now what's a Four of Wands with the Moon and the King of Cups beneath it, with the King of Wands there? Well, it's Venus ruling the third decan of Aries. That's what it is. And that period is the 10th to the 19th of April. Now, because of this tree, look, Venus rules two signs, Taurus and Libra. But because this tree is growing into the air, I'm going to assign Libra to the air sign of Libra. And for Venus to leave Libra and go into Aries, because it's Venus in Aries, this card, it needs to go to the diametrically opposed side of the zodiac. It'll be 180 degrees away from home, where it's going to be in detriment. And of course, Venus and Mars sitting together, you might think that there is a problem. But I don't think that there is. And the reason why I don't think there is because of the interaction of these other cards with wands backing onto wands, so fire and fire, and water here. So the water is dampening down the aggressive energy of Mars, I think. And the number 4 has an association with me with the planet of Jupiter, which is the great benefic. It's about expansion and just sheer good luck. And in numerological terms, 4 is about foundation, completeness, progress, power, and stability. So I think that this is a time of you to finish up things, to get them done. There's a possibility of a new beginning. There's a green light to success here. There's the first stage to completion, possibly setting up a new house or moving home. Now, Venus, the symbol of beauty and love, combines with Aries, the principle of new beginnings. So your heart pushes forth and seeks the development of the beautiful in new directions. But before the new can arise, the old must be complete. The conflict between opposites must be resolved in a way which will further you on the way towards your highest goal. Now, tension in relationships can work positively when the individuality of each partner is recognized and respected. This makes it possible for you to support one another in moving forward. Something beautiful is making its way into your relationships. You may first notice it as established conditions are called into question and discussed openly. Sorting out the old is necessary for a new oneness, a new beginning. And say this: completing the old frees me for the new. A fascinating spread of cards. I'm sure you will agree with me. And what a great month it looks like it's going to be for you. Gee, I might come move into your place if that's okay, because it looks like everything is going to be happening for the good. Well, what we're going to do now, though, of course, is to let that sink in, and I'll see you again next month. But until then, remember one thing, and it is this: that you are a legend, and I look forward to seeing you again next month. Till then, it's bye for now.